All right, so before we dive full into this, I do want to just kind of lay out this like foundation for what you're about to experience, and just give you some of the cold hard truths. So you may be wondering at this moment, why does Dana have weird glasses on? So long story short, I'm wearing them not because I don't have good vision. I have good vision. I actually don't need glasses, but they help with blocking out certain types of light. So I tell myself that they're helping me, and in my mind they are. So whether it's placebo effect or it's real, I don't care. It helps me be more productive, so that's why I wear them. So whatever you can do to make yourself more productive, let's just do it. So anyway, the point of this whole entire thing is quite simple. It's to help you finally get the success that you've always wanted. Like, you've been so close, I know. How do I know? Because I've been there, right? I've been doing this for over a decade. Like, you don't just wake up and just know what I know, right? You get there from doing a lot of it, making a lot of mistakes and all that craziness. So anyway, what I'm about to share with you is going to help you get this. Oop, I'd be a really bad weatherman. This, it'll get you one of those. It well, maybe won't give you one of those. So that's 2 Comma Club award for those that don't know. That's for making $1 million online through a funnel. This is Inner Circle Member of the Year through Russell Brunson's Inner Circle, and then this is me, a caricature that Russell got for me of me holding my book. So anyway, I want you to have all that stuff plus a whole heck of a lot more. So the first thing is this. I'm just gonna hit you straight with this, okay? You have to stop buying crap. Like, you literally right now need to stop buying crap. Okay, so one of my best buds, Myron Golden, had an awesome saying. He said that he takes people off the market, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm literally taking you off the market. You don't need to buy other stuff. That's it. You should feel such a relief right now in this very second that you don't have to buy any more crap. Okay? Eventually, maybe down the road, yeah, but like right now, your endless search is over. Okay? I have everything you need. You just need to watch all this stuff, take all the assets I'm giving you, all of the tools, and go use them. Okay? That's it. It's that freaking simple. So, one of the reasons I'm like emphatic about that, and I'm starting with this, is because I went through 6 years of struggling. Like, literally 6 years of like, am I gonna be able to pay the bills this month? And it all like literally six years of that, and it was always like this. And even before that, it was worse. It was like, I can remember one of the defining moments in my life. I was in college. I was like 20, 21. I had stopped playing football, which was my life to that point. I was an entrepreneur too, but football, right? And then I was in college, and had this night class. It was 4 hours long, which is like awful. And anyway, I get out of it. I have nothing to eat. I'm so hungry. I head over to Taco Bell. I was that desperate, right? And I remember I ordered some food, and it was $6.12. I'll never forget this. I swiped my card, and the cashier looked at me and they said, "Oh, it didn't go through." I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's try it again." So swiped it again. Same thing, said it's declined, and then she kind of under her breath said, like, it says insufficient funds. And it gives me chills to this day. I'll never forget that moment. Like, $6.12. Can't even feed myself, and I just remember how like embarrassing that was. And I changed my life after that. I stopped this endless stupid goose chase, right? And although for the next 6 years I did have some of these, I had a lot of these, and it was just like this for 6 years until finally I'm like, I have had enough. And here's why. So this is what happens. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but um, so what I did was I'm just going to draw this for you, like literally draw, right? Like hand, paper, that kind of thing. So I literally was like going to try everything I could think of, right, to finally make good money and the living that I wanted, right? So I would try something, right? So let's say that it was like back in the day, let's say it was like Google SEO or something, right? I'd try it, right? And then it didn't work. Okay, then I'm like, okay, crap, that sucked. I'd go look for the next thing, right? And the next thing would pop up, and I'd be like, well, that didn't work, but guess what? I learned some lessons, and just because that didn't work, then maybe that means that I probably this will work, right? That makes sense logically. Like, I tried that didn't work. Well, let me try this. Well, then what happens? That didn't work, right? Let's say that was Google Ads. I don't know, AdWords, right? And you're like, oh crap, that sucks. That didn't work, right? Now what do I do? Then you're like, oh man, this is really crappy. Then you go find the next thing. And you're like, oh, maybe I need to do YouTube, right? I need to run some YouTube stuff. And then you try that, and you're like, oh, these didn't work, but that means that this probably will, right? And guess what? That doesn't work. And then guess what happens? You keep looking and searching, and you find something else. You're like, oh, there it is, Facebook ads, right? You're thinking to yourself, all right, I've tried pretty much everything else, right? I've tried Google SEO, I've tried Google AdWords, I've tried YouTube. No, I'm gonna try Facebook ads, and they're gonna work. You know why? Because I've tried everything else. And you try it, and that doesn't work. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like, all right, there's got to be, like, I'm so close, right? I've been mining and mining and mining for that goal. That must be like 1 or 2 picks away, right? And then you find the next thing, right? Let's say the next thing, let's say it's ManyChat or Chatbot, right? Whatever the next thing is. Then you try it. And guess what? It doesn't work either. And then you go like that. You're like, wow, this really sucks. Like, does anything work? Right? And the crazy thing is, like, I say this because I've done it, right? I'm not making this up. Like, I experienced this with myself. So you go through that whole thing, and pretty soon you're thinking to yourself, like, I'm gonna just process of elimination. I'm gonna try every single thing, and one thing has to work, right? Well, logically that would make sense, but the reality is no. You know why? Because every single day people are making a fortune off of creating the next shiny object for you, and then the next shiny thing, and then the next shiny thing, and then the next shiny thing, and then pretty soon the list never ends, right? So you could go for the rest of your life chasing these shiny objects, and you will never find the end, right? There's no end. You can't eliminate the entire thing because there is no end to it, right? So it took me 6 years to figure that out. And finally, I bought the last thing, and I'm like, there's no end to this. It's nothing but constant new stuff. You know why? Because it doesn't work. And I literally vowed at that very second, I will never invest in another shiny object ever again in my life. Ever. And I haven't. I'm doing okay for myself. And now you don't have to either. So you should have another, like, big, huge sigh of relief. Holy shit, Dana, does that mean I don't have to go through 300 more courses to find what works? Yeah. Holy crap, Dana, does that mean that I don't have to go spend more on new stuff? Yeah. I invest the only thing I'll ever invest in, right, is the stuff that is timeless. That means that it's here today. It worked 50 years ago. It works today. It'll work 50 years from now. Nothing else matters to me. I could care less. Okay? So that's why I'm about to show you all the strategies that you need that have worked 50 years ago. They work today. They will work 50 years from now. Okay, that's it. That's all you need. Then you don't have to go process of eliminating 6 years, losing a ton of money, stress, and all that other stuff, going like this. We're going to get you to go like this forever. Okay? All right, cool. Yeah, so that leads to one of my final points here, and I'm just, again, setting the foundation. There's no necessarily, like, action items other than don't buy other stuff. You don't need it, okay? The other thing that I wish I would have figured out sooner is people, and if you're guilty of this, you are guilty of this. I'm so sorry to tell you, because I was guilty of it too, and then even still to this day I can find myself being guilty of this kind of thing. So there's this concept of momentum as an entrepreneur, right? So my good friend Alex Charfen has built an entire brand around this concept. Momentum being like when something good happens, as an entrepreneur, something else good is going to happen, and then something else good, and it's like this snowball. It keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and you want to be in momentum, and you want to just keep moving forward, right? Like we have this insatiable desire to move forward. Now there's a problem. There's a huge problem. People, some people have convinced the majority of entrepreneurs that momentum is gained by the wrong thing. So basically they've tricked us into thinking that we are gathering momentum by doing the wrong thing. Okay, here's what I mean. Momentum as an entrepreneur is not. It is not. It feels like it, but it is not. It is not gained by consuming more content or scratching that entrepreneurial itch. okay, by watching videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, going to masterminds, calling people. Like, that's not momentum. It feels like it. It feels like it, right? Because like I can't sit still. Like I like love this stuff. Like I'm breathing, eating, sleeping. I want to just continue building. I want to make money for my family. I want to do like awesome things, philanthropy things. Tough word. But like I find myself sometimes even still to this day like confusing like forward momentum with just consuming stuff. Right? So you find yourself, you're like, you're working. No, I'm working. I'm working. I'm working. I'm browsing these videos. I'm watching this stuff. I'm listening to this. I'm reading that. I'm working. But what are you actually doing? Are you getting anything done? No. So I see all the time. It's so funny. I figured this out because actually not terribly long ago I figured this out. And it's the difference between somebody that's not making much money or as much as they want and somebody that's making a ton of money, right? Here's the difference. Somebody that's not making the money they want, their momentum is wrong. They're too busy consuming stuff. They're not actually, they think they're working and moving forward, but they're not. The people that are making a ton of money, they're not doing that. They know what their momentum is, like what they should or shouldn't be doing, right? They're not consuming that much stuff. Now, I'm not saying that consuming stuff isn't important. It is extremely important, but there has to be the right ratio. Okay, so here's how I discovered this. I recently, not too terribly long ago, I hosted a mastermind, a private mastermind. It's called the Goat Farm Mastermind. Yeah, it was crazy. And anyway, so we had that event. It was amazing, and then we ended up there were so many people that wanted to come, couldn't come for whatever reason. So we ended up selling the recordings of the event. And it was so funny because I've never experienced this before, but it makes so much sense. Everybody wanted to know how long it was, like how many hours were the recordings. And they ended up, we cut them down. So it was just pretty much, if you haven't noticed, my stuff is not filler at all. So it was just straight to the point, nuggets, and it was 6 hours. Okay, so it ended up being 6 hours. What we noticed is it was such a strange, cool thing is about half of the people that asked about it said that 6 hours, that's not enough. What? This was a 3-day event. How can I only get 6 hours? Right? And they just wanted it to be as long as possible. They wanted it to be the longer the better. They felt like they were getting more value. And the other half of people said to us, 6 hours? I can't sift through 6 hours. And they wanted it to be as short as possible. You know the difference between the two? The longer, there was a correlation between the people that wanted it longer and how much money they were making. People that wanted shorter, and how much money they were making. Can you guess who is who? So my point is this. The mentality is not, I need to consume more and more and more, right? It's like, imagine you're at a dang buffet. I love buffets, okay? But heck, you're going to be able to eat a whole lot more and get a different variety, get the stuff that you actually like by trying a little bit of each. Instead of just overloading every single plate and just sitting there, you're going to end up sick. You're going to get nothing done, nothing out of it, right? So, point is this. You don't need more. Do not confuse forward momentum, you doing things and getting toward your goals, with consuming more and more and more and more and more. It's so easy to get lost in watching the next live video, listening to the next podcast, reading the next book. Those are great. You should do those. However, it should be more like 80-20. Okay? Yes, I understand Warren Buffett reads for 6 hours a day. But guess what? Warren Buffett doesn't go on the internet. If the guy would go on the internet, he could probably get as much information as he's getting in the 6 hours reading in probably like an hour. Right? But guess what? Warren Buffett wasn't reading for 6 hours when he was building his companies. Right? Now he just advises and watches from the top. You and I aren't there yet. We can't afford to do that. Okay? We can't. That's the reality. Right? So again, please don't confuse consuming information for forward momentum in your business. Right? So again, I look at it at 80-20. Okay? 80% of the time I'm doing, implementing. Okay? The secret to success for you is implementing. That means you go do. I do 10 things. 1 out of 10 is a success, typically. And I'm thrilled. The other 9, I could care less about. Cool. Thanks, other 9, for getting me to the one that mattered. Right? You need to implement. Okay, 80-20. 80% of your time implementing, 20% of your time studying. That's it. It could be more than that. It could be 100 to 0. If your money's not right, it should be 100 to 0. That's it. I know you're thinking, oh, I don't know, I don't have the stuff I need. Okay, that's why you're here. I'm giving you that. Okay? So, you're going to spend the next however long it takes you to go through my stuff, and that's it. You're going to shut all the other shit off, because has that other shit gotten you anything? Not really. Maybe some mixed results here and there. Maybe? No. This is the stuff you need. Okay? I can promise you that. All right. So what you're going to get in the next, the rest of this whole shebang is you're getting the tools. Okay? You're getting all of the scripts, all of the, like just literally everything you need is in this course. Okay? You don't need anything else. I'm so sorry to tell you that. And by now, I can imagine that you probably know that. And it makes sense now. Hey, don't feel bad. It took me 6 years to figure that out. And it took me buying a lot of stuff and wasting a lot of time, energy, and money to finally figure it out. But hell, I'm happy. I'm so grateful that it didn't take another 6 years. Okay? So that's what I'm here to do for you. I'm freeing you of the sort of misconception that you need to be learning, and just like, oh, it's just shoving all this information in your mind. No, you don't. You need to be implementing. You probably have enough information right now to make a ton of money. You just haven't implemented, right? Guess what? There's a direct correlation between how much money you make and how much stuff you sell. My good buddy Alex Hormozy, who's gone from literally broke, like couch surfing, literally, like legit, to probably in the next year and a half, 2 years, they will have a $100 million a year company. It's unfreaking believable. Guess what? This is what he says. The difference between small companies and giant ones is not much. The small ones maybe sell like 1 or 2 things a week. The big ones sell like 15, 20 a day. That's the only difference. Pretty cool, huh? So there's a correlation. If your money isn't right, answer this question. Okay? I'm so sorry. I was a football coach, so I'm going to give you some tough love right now. Answer this question. In the last 30 days, 60 days, how many times have you sold something? How many? Before you go thinking that it's evil to sell, happiest place on earth, Disneyland. They make more money per visitor, okay, per visitor than Las Vegas. Do you know what that means? That means that the happiest place on earth is squeezing every last dime out of every single person that walks through those doors. Walt said before he passed, he literally said, because he went down there, was looking at how it was progressing as they were building it, and he absolutely freaked out. He freaked out. Why? Because he said he wasn't offered an opportunity to buy stuff enough. He said, and he literally said, quote, I want there to be an opportunity to buy something every 10 steps. That means that somebody cannot walk more than 10 steps any direction without having a chance to buy something. Literally. Go to Disney. If you haven't been to Disney World, go down there. I have once as an adult, actually last year. I was so excited to go to see how much money I was going to waste because of this, and it's so true. Every 10 steps, there's somebody selling something. And it doesn't even seem that way or feel that way. Why? It's the happiest place on earth. Right? So don't feel bad. In the last 60 days, have you sold enough? Probably not. That's probably why you are where you are. And maybe, now in your defense, maybe you didn't have the right tools. That's okay. That's why you're here. I'm giving you those tools. But guess what? You have to freaking use them. Okay? Because every 10 steps, you're going to be selling something. Maybe not every 10, maybe every 20. But you're going to be selling. Okay? Because we're going to change your life and change your money situation. And then you know what's going to happen? You're going to be giving me a lot more of your money. Because I'm basically fronting you a bunch of stuff right now. I'm giving you the goods. It took me a decade of blood, sweat, tears to get. And you're going to go get a bunch of results. And then you're going to praise me and then my goats. And then you're going to give me a bunch more money because you're going to buy a bunch more stuff after. Okay? That's the deal we're making. All right? So anyway, you're going to get all the tools. That's helped me build a multi-six-figure business for years, and now multi-7 figure, going on 8. Okay, and we're actually going to create your client acquisition system. That is what every business needs, and those that don't have it, they go away, and those that do stay forever. So if you want to stay forever and you want to actually achieve all of everything you've ever wanted, keep watching. All right, so let's get into it. We'll see you on the next one.